Wide variety of food items, wines, and gift items made right here in Illinois. Sure to impress the host or hostess. Mom would definitely approve. Elkhart Station, Route 66 in the heart of downtown Elkhart.
Menards has everything you need to light your home. Sylvania's True Wave Natural Light LED bulbs provide the closest light spectrum to natural sunlight. This helps you to see better by offering an enhanced color experience with show colors, whites, and skin tones with exceptional contrast. Save big money this holiday season and get a $10 rebate with a $40 purchase of Sylvania True Wave LED bulbs at Menards. Good through December 24th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
All the season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Sale? I say up to 80% off is a sale. Now at A.B. Lauer Jewelers on West Isles, just off Chatham Road.
At A.B. Lauer, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Hey, this is Brian. Christmas is almost here, and I'm getting nervous. I still have a lot of jewelry to clear out, so we're now up to 80% off. It's gotta go.
At A.B. Lauer, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
All right, so the January 6th committee is set to meet again. This committee does have a whole bunch of Democrats and a couple of Republicans, and it's even been criticized for not having the full slate of Republicans to really ask some important questions that some Republicans thought were important, but they do have Illinois' Adam Kinzinger and Wyoming's Liz Cheney, plus Adam Schiff and several others. And it's the final meeting today, and it's expected, as you're hearing in the news reporting, that they're going to request that some charges be filed, even against the former president of the United States, because of what happened on January 6th with the riots that they characterized as an insurrection. So I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Your thoughts on this. Is this healthy to have this happen at this current stage we're in, especially with the former president having announced that he is running for the office? But the DOJ already saying that they have appointed a special prosecutor of sorts to investigate any possible criminal wrongdoing by the former president. Your thoughts on this? We'll get your calls at 217-629-7970. Good morning. Thanks for being patient. You're on the air. What's up?
What's up, Greg? Well, first of all, this is the biggest waste of money, but you had talked about a couple other things I just want to throw at you real quick. When that female representative or whatever she is comes on, ask her, instead of worrying about AR-15s and assault rifles or semi-automatic weapons, worry about this law that's passing where you're going to let criminals out without having to pay any bail. Stuff like that is way more important, and these people, they don't understand it. There's enough gun laws in the books now to take care of business. But this January 6th stuff, this is a joke. It's a waste of money. And if they want to investigate, start investigating the Biden family for the corruptness they've caused.
Yeah, and you can expect that's going to happen after the new Congress is seated and Republicans take over the House. They've already hinted that they're going to be delving into not just Hunter Biden, but President Joe Biden and his connection to Hunter Biden's business dealings. So you're saying that it's a waste of time. We'll see if we can get that question in for State Representative LaShawn Ford, Democrat from Chicago. He'll be joining us after 8:30 this morning to talk about that proposed gun bill here in Illinois. But to the January 6th committee, what do you think? Is this healthy for our democracy to have this panel that's held primetime hearings and spliced together a bunch of videos to make people look a certain way and characterizing President Trump's Twitter messages certain ways and so on? Is it healthy that they could very likely vote to refer charges against the former president and others for things like insurrection? Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg. I think it looks like a circus most of the time with stuff like this, and it makes us look unprofessional, extremely biased.
But they have two Republicans on this. Supposed to be 9-member panel or something.
Yeah, but in my opinion, let's say so they have the majority or whatever. So then make it 5-4. Like, at least balance it. better than what it's balanced.
Well,
because
and there were
it
supposed to
lacks
be other Republicans on there, like Jim Jordan, and I think even Congressman Rodney Davis was supposed to be on there at one point. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi blocked those Republicans being on there. And there's this possible challenge we could see that since the committee wasn't fully constituted, does it make the committee's work legitimate or illegitimate? That's an interesting question I haven't really seen fully fleshed out, but I guess we'll see if that happens if they vote for these potential charges against the former president.
Well, and if they bring these charges against him, at this point, I'm fine with it because I think Governor DeSantis would have a much better opportunity to win the presidency than Trump would because everybody is so against him.
Yeah.
And I think that DeSantis would have a better chance anyway. So I do think it lacks legitimacy. The whole thing makes us look like a clown show at this point.
Got you down. We're taking your phone calls about the January 6th committee set to meet the final time for this year, and it's expected as being reported that they are going to vote to refer charges to the DOJ against the former president and others, including the possibility of referring charges of insurrection. Your thoughts. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Well, Greg, I got a question. Didn't Eric Swalwell sleep with a Chinese spy?
That's the allegation, but he's not on this committee. However, he is on some intelligence committees, which begs the question
exactly.
of...
And that is kind of scary when you think about it. Think about that. I mean, he's on the intelligence committee, and whether he did or he didn't, it needs to be looked into, but they don't even want to touch that.
But isn't this whataboutism that we always hear about? That is, hey, you're crazy for even bringing that up. Let me gaslight you a bit. That's whataboutism.
It is, just like this. Whataboutism. Show me in that speech where Trump encouraged people to go tear down the democracy. He never did. He told people to go protest peacefully.
He did, and the words that may not have been as public is what I think they're trying to delve into to paint the picture the way they want it to be painted, especially heading into, believe it or not, the election cycle that's underway for 2024, which is wild. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Your thoughts of the January 6th committee, their final hearing today, and it's expected they will vote on referring charges, including the possibility of insurrection against the former president, Donald Trump. What's up?
Morning, Bishop.
Hey.
I want everybody to sit back and seriously think about this. I would say, just my personal opinion, I would say the White House is probably the second most guarded, if not first, next to Area 51. I think Area 51's bogus now. I'm not really sure. I don't pay much attention to that. But you're telling me that a bunch of people with no weapons stormed the Capitol with all the rifles and all the pistols and all the guns there, and they were able to get into the White House. The White House, the Capitol
not the White House, Congress. They were able to get into
Congress.
the halls of
Sorry.
Congress. Sure, yeah.
The halls of Congress. I'm sorry, which is how is it guarded pretty well as well too?
Well, listen, I mean that day there were a lot of questions as to why there wasn't more guards, because we knew that there were going to be potentially 1 million plus people on the grounds of Washington D.C. that day, knowing that you had the certification that was happening for the 2020 election, and even the call being put out from the former president's administration saying that we should probably have an increased national guard there. But what's fascinating too is you're highlighting that the lack of security and how people were even able to get as far as they got in. But what about the summer beforehand, where you had the White House with President Trump inside the White House having to go into an emergency bunker because there were protesters that wanted to burn the White House down in the summer of 2020. Instead, they couldn't get there because of the enhanced security around the White House perimeter, so they went across the street or across the way and they burned a church rather dramatically. So if you remember that during the summer of 2020, was that ever fully investigated? Were the bad actors involved there, maybe organizers involved there? That could be labeled an insurrection as well. So interesting to see this, but one last call. Your thoughts. Is it healthy that this January 6th committee could possibly vote to refer charges of insurrection against former President Donald Trump? Good morning.
No, I don't think it's going to work. I think it'll make it more popular, especially after just announcing he wants to set up safeguards on digital cybersecurity and whatnot and social media.
Yeah, so you don't think it'll go anywhere, and especially now that we're in the election season and the former president has announced that he's running for another term, and he's going to be making a lot of policy pronouncements, but we'll be watching all of this closely. Appreciate the calls. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Stay tuned. We got a lot more to get to, including the latest on the gun debate. We'll hear about what one group says is the problem with enhanced penalties on individuals who may have certain types of firearms or magazines, but also the latest out of Highland Park, and where you've got the father of the suspect of that mass shooting facing charges himself now that he signed off on his son to get a firearm, and then his son allegedly legally purchased firearms and used that during the Highland Park shooting on July 4th. So we'll get to that. Plus, State Representative LaShawn Ford will join us after 8:30. We'll get his reaction to some of the criticism of House Bill 5855. So that's all on the way here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where you've got a high of only around 33 degrees. And then for the low tonight, the low of around 25, possible mix of some flurries. Then partly sunny Tuesday, the high of 37. Mostly cloudy Wednesday, the high of 32, and then Wednesday night, we got a chance of some snow. And to Thursday, the high of 30, check that, yep, the high of around 30 Thursday, but the low is going to drop down to 0 degrees with snow likely. And the Friday, 30% chance of snow, could be blowing with a high of 6. -4 the low Friday night, and into the weekend we're looking at single-digit highs, -digit lows, and Christmas Day 13 the high with mostly sunny skies. Right now it's about 18 degrees at 8:21 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Whoa! We can't clean up that search history. But we can clean your office, your school, your church, or other awesome workplace. Get your free estimate online at cleanimpactllc.com. Impact. Clean Impact. Can't clean up your dirty martini? But we can clean your office, your school, your church, hospital, or other amazing workplace. Get your free estimate online at cleanimpactllc.com.
It's another festive holiday season in downtown Springfield. This year, Old Capitol Holiday Walks, presented by IMB and Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln, merges with the Memorial Holiday Fest to bring you a slew of magical downtown events. Enjoy free Midwest sleigh rides, children's activities, holiday displays, visits with Santa, food, drinks, shopping, free entertainment, and so much more. For the full schedule of events, go to downtownspringfield.org.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store. Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Today, bring in an unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots to BLH, and you can recycle a TV free. Grab that old TV that's been staring at you from the corner of your basement and bring it to BLH in Springfield along with a toy valued at $10 or more. If you have two TVs, bring in two unwrapped toys. You'll leave feeling great you finally got rid of that old TV, and you'll put a smile on a kid's face for Christmas. BLH Computers on Stevenson Drive. BLHcomputers.com.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
And today's poll question is, are you looking or hoping for a white Christmas? Yes, it really sets the Christmas mood, or no, snow on Christmas is a hazard and a hassle. 61% of you say, yeah, you're ready for the snow, sets the Christmas mood. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Back with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And here's a headline that we'll be talking about for weeks ahead, and that is about firearms. We're going to talk with State Representative LaShawn Ford after 8:30 here. He's a co-sponsor for House Bill 5855, so stay tuned for that. But a headline, Highland Park 4th of July parade shooter suspect's father released on bail. This coming from the Chicago Sun-Times. Robert Cremo Jr., whose son's been charged with killing 7 people and wounding dozens more at Highland Park's 4th of July parade, released Saturday in Lake County on $50,000 bail. Cremo looked somber and tired and appeared before a judge Saturday after surrendering to police Friday on 7 felony counts. Now, what happened here is in 2019, and this is something I do want to talk with Representative LaShawn Ford about, in 2019, police in Highland Park visited Cremo's home once on a call of a threat that they made to kill themselves, and then a second time in 2019, a call to respond to threats that the individual is making towards family members, including with knives. They've confiscated those knives. They then moved forward to file a report to Illinois State Police, a clear and present danger report that should have kept the individual from getting a FOID card, even though his father sponsored him as a minor under 21 getting a FOID card. So Robert Cremo Jr. being charged in that signature of signing off on getting his son a firearm owner identification card, which he then moved on to actually, purchase firearms legally and allegedly shoot and kill 7 people and injuring dozens. But there's something else I do also want to get State Representative LaShawn Ford's take on is reaction to community groups that say they may support banning certain types of guns, but they don't support the idea of increased penalty enhancements. And this is from Artenise Myrick. She is with Live Free Illinois on the hearing last week that she laid out her concerns of why she doesn't like this particular legislation. And here she is breaking down some of the reasons why.
Hello, good morning, Chairperson Slaughter, Vice Chair Cassidy, Minority Spokesperson Severin, and members of the committee. Thank you for your time today. I am Artenise Myrick, the lead organizer at Live Free Illinois. Live Free Illinois is a faith-based organization geared towards mobilizing congregations and those directly impacted by the carceral system in the intersection of public safety and criminal justice reform. We have chapters in Rockford, East St. Louis, South Suburbs, Champaign, Peoria, and Lake County. We work to address gun violence, mass incarceration, and police violence because we believe that these are the 3 largest civil rights issues of our time. We come together today from all across the state, from all walks of life, in unity. We have vested interest in keeping our communities safe, communities that now live in fear due to increased mass shootings around the country. Illinois has experienced over 50 mass shootings to date. 1 is way too many. Please allow me to be clear. We are in support of an assault weapons ban and large capacity magazine limits to 10. However, we strongly oppose any proposed legislation that would further criminalize Black and Brown communities. We are opposed to penalty enhancements for Black and Brown communities, and we are opposed to the FOID card age limit being raised to the age of 21. Now, we are not arguing that 18-year-olds need assault weapons, but we are concerned that law-abiding citizens may be wrapped up in the system if they are not able to obtain weapons through the proper channels. For Black and Brown communities who are over-policed, we have more individuals who are susceptible to being swept up and forgotten in the system. The difference between our communities and communities like Highland Park is the quick access to abundant resources rather than carceral strategies. Increased enhancements do not reduce violence, but it does increase overcriminalization in our communities. The national and local headlines continually let us know that we are not safe from gun violence. And more specifically, that our homes, our schools, our movie theaters, churches, parks, at any moment can become potential war zones. According to Coster Health News, the leading cause of death for children aged 1 through 19 are firearms, with Black and Brown communities being the most adversely affected. We need more investment. We need more spaces focused on healing and enrichment of our communities. For example, trauma resource centers that will allow space for individuals to mimic the resources that Highland Park received in one mass shooting compared to the consistent act of terror that plagued communities of color on a daily basis. We want to focus on keeping Black and Brown individuals out of the penal system, and we want to take extra care to ensure that we're not intentionally targeting individuals who are already vulnerable. At Live Free, we work predominantly with communities that are hardest hit by gun violence and lack of investment. The communities we work in already have high rates of violence, seen as low as 24 people killed in Rockford, 80 people killed in West Pullman of Chicago, and 57 people in Joliet. With easy accessibility to high-powered weapons that fire automatically, killing hundreds within seconds, these numbers could easily be tripled. Although incidents like Highland Park have piqued the discussion of proper gun reform, cities like Chicago and Rockford have been engulfed in gunfire for years. With lax gun laws for assault weapons, our communities are in danger of increased shootings, increased deaths, and increased trauma.
So again, that is Artenise Myrick with Live Free Illinois, saying that while she supports the idea of banning certain types of semi-automatic weapons and magazines of 10 rounds or more, she does not, as that organization, support penalty enhancements, which you've got opposition from across the board there about that idea of turning people into felons overnight. So coming up next, we will get the response from State Representative LaShawn Ford, Chicago Democrats. He's one of the co-sponsors on this, and we'll get his response as well to other criticism of this bill as they continue to have another hearing set for tomorrow, where Illinois State Police are expected to be testifying as well. So stay tuned. That's coming up here next on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Now 8:34. Let's get a headline check.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. The House January 6 committee is wrapping up its investigation into the violent 2021 U.S. Capitol insurrection. At a final meeting scheduled for Monday, the panel is poised to recommend that the Justice Department consider criminal charges against former President Donald Trump. Such a recommendation could also target associates who helped Trump launch a multifaceted campaign to try to overturn the 2020 election. A panel member, Democratic California Congressman Adam Schiff, tells CNN's State of the Union that he thinks Trump should be prosecuted like any other American who breaks the law. Among the new Illinois laws taking effect January 1st is one requiring most homes in the state to have smoke detectors with non-removable 10-year batteries. The law was passed in 2017, but was written to not take effect until 2023. There are several exemptions in the new law. It does not apply to alarm systems that are hardwired or connected via Wi-Fi to a central alarm. Existing standard smoke alarms with removable batteries can remain in use until 10 years after the manufacture date of the alarm. Montgomery County authorities are investigating the discovery of a body in a creek near Hillsborough High School. The body was found by a student who was walking home after school on Friday. The deceased person was identified as 33-year-old Joshua Ernst of Hillsborough. There's no word yet on the cause of death, but authorities say foul play is not suspected. Activities at Hillsborough High School were canceled Friday night because of the police investigation. Tax receipts are coming in much higher than expected for Illinois so far this fiscal year, prompting state officials to revise their revenue estimates for the current budget year. The Commission of Government Forecasting and Accountability now estimates that the state will take in nearly $5 billion more than original estimates, which would put the state ahead of last year's record-setting revenue amount of just over $51 billion. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has tested positive for COVID-19 again, the second time this year she has contracted the virus. Lightfoot said in a statement that she is not experiencing symptoms, which she attributes to the fact that she is vaccinated and boosted. Lightfoot is working from home, as she did last January when she contracted COVID, resulting in mild cold-like symptoms at the time. A New Berlin teenager is dead after a car crash Friday in Morgan County. 16-year-old Kelly Peters was transported to HSHS St. John's Hospital, where she died Saturday of her injuries. Peters was driving on the Franklin Alexander Road when her car crashed into another vehicle. The other driver suffered less serious injuries. State police are investigating the crash, but did not immediately release information on how it happened or on possible citations. The father of the suspect in the deadly 4th of July parade shooting in Highland Park has been charged with multiple felonies for helping his son obtain a gun license in 2019. Robert Cremo Jr. is facing 7 counts of reckless conduct for sponsoring his then 19-year-old son's application, even though Robert Cremo III had been suicidal and had made threats to kill family members just months earlier. The Lake County State's attorney says the older Cremo knew of his son's problems and sponsored the application anyway. Robert Cremo III is accused of killing 7 people. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, this is Dale Brand from Heartland Hearing. Listen to our Business Spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Your dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, chance of flurries this afternoon with a high near 34. Tonight, cloudy, low around 25. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high near 36, low around 21. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 31. Snow likely after midnight. Thursday, patchy blowing snow likely with a high near 30. Friday, a chance of snow in the morning, blustery and cold with a high only around 5. And your Christmas Eve will be partly sunny and cold with a high near 9 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville. Online at blhcomputers.com.
The most festive bus in the nation will be lighting up the Memorial Holiday Fest and Old Capitol Holiday Walks. Holly, the SMTD Holiday Bus, will be on display during the walks. And this year, you can ride the Saturday Shuttle on a route designed just for the Memorial Holiday Fest. The shuttle starts at Union Station on Madison and runs from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So easy to enjoy the downtown sights and shopping. To find out where Holly, the bright and beautiful holiday bus, will be, shuttle, route maps, and the full transit schedule, go to smtd.org.
The Riverbank Lodge. Stop in Monday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. for the best lunch in Petersburg, and nightly 4 to midnight where you can enjoy food, drinks, and gaming. Why not stay the night? Ask about our room rates. The Riverbank Lodge, Petersburg. Play slots or try a hand at video poker and win big with Excel Entertainment, Illinois' leading terminal operator. Take a spin with us and have your pick of the hottest games and enjoy the latest upgrades. Gaming as easy as 3-2-win. Powered by Excel Entertainment. Game on.
Well, you know, Christmas is only a couple of weeks away, and the big old GOB sale at A.B. Lauer Jewelers is going crazy. Lots of great jewelry on sale at crazy prices, up to 80% off. Nothing's being held back. We're now open Mondays 11 to 6, so our hours are 11 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Don't wait any longer. We'll be closed forever after the holidays. A.B. Lauer Jewelers in the beautiful Montvale Junction Shopping Center on West Isles.
If you have a security system, give this a try. Call them and see what their response time is. Can you talk to a real live person 24 hours a day, even weekends and holidays? Are they prompt to follow up with your service requests? Varcom Security is winning customers by outstanding performance on all of those fronts. Every second counts. Contact the Springfield office of Varcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Google, it's a verb. You Google everything. Health symptoms, Johnny Depp, recipes. I'm Kim Commando with 3 Google Search Pro tips. First off, use quotation marks. When you want to find the best potato air fryer recipe, and not a bunch of different sites that have tons of air fryer recipes, put that phrase in quotation marks. All of your Google search results will have that phrase in it. Boom. Number 2, use the hyphen or minus sign. Hate sweet potatoes? Search for best potato air fryer recipe minus sweet potatoes. Number 3, use a tilde. That's the squiggly line next to the 1 key. Google will find synonyms of a keyword. Searching for red tilde jackets will show red sweaters and ponchos too. Finally, search within a site. Let's say you read a post at a website, but you can't find it. In the Google search bar, type the word site, then a colon, and the name of the site and what you're looking for. So site:commando.com data breach would show them at my website, and that's Commando with a K, of course. What do you do when something just doesn't work? You Google it. Too often, that's a complete waste of time. You need someone to hold your hand. Maybe you're lucky enough to have someone to call for help or come over, but let's face it, they're too busy for you. Finding tech support online is risky. That's why I partner with top tech experts to give you 24/7 live support that you can trust. They'll fix your problems or there's no charge. I'm so proud to tell you about GetKimsHelp.com. Whether it's a problem with your Wi-Fi, printer, smartphone, computer, TV, smart speaker, or another connected device, the experts at GetKimsHelp.com fix most issues in 10 minutes or less. High-tech troubleshooting tools like virtual house calls let them resolve even the most complex issues quickly. So stop Googling. Have your problem solved right now. Visit GetKimsHelp.com. It's an affordable way to fix problems with the help from experts who you can trust. GetKimsHelp.com.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
All right, let's now talk with State Representative LaShawn Ford, a Chicago Democrat and one of the co-sponsors of House Bill 5855. Another hearing on this is expected tomorrow, and then we'll also hear from Illinois State Police at that hearing tomorrow. But I wanted to talk with Representative Ford about some of the opposition that's been brought up, even from those who support the idea of banning certain types of semi-automatic weapons and magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. Representative, thanks for taking time this morning, and let's just get right on into it with the limited time we have. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. How you doing up there?
Good, Bishop. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No question. So let's get into this with some of the opposition. We aired from Live Free Illinois, the organizer, Artenice Myrick. She talked about how she supports the idea of banning certain types of weapons, but not the idea of penalty enhancements for those who may want to access certain firearms to protect themselves. And that seems to be really what I think is the impetus of other opposition out there from gun owners' rights groups that say that turning people into criminals overnight by prohibiting certain types of magazines is unfair and so on. What's your reaction to some of that opposition?
Well, one of the reasons why I continue to go to these hearings and listen to both sides of the position is to learn from the people that have an interest in the topic. And so I'm very, very interested in making sure that we do something about the enhancement from this bill. We don't need to add more felons onto our records in Illinois. That's not a good look. And I think that we have to find a balanced approach as it relates to passing House Bill 5855. So I'm listening to them, and I understand both sides of the aisle and both sides on the issue. But what I don't understand is why people won't understand that doing nothing will continue to lead us down the same path that we're going, and we must do something.
And we heard a lot on Thursday's hearing about the need for more resources for violence interdiction, and even some of the opponents of the bill say that they like that idea. They want that idea. But we still have this issue of the semi-automatic guns, rifles, shotguns, and pistols, around 100 that I counted, and of course the magazines as well. But another point of opposition that's been raised, and we saw this develop over the weekend with the father of the Highland Park shooting suspect. And I imagine this will probably be brought up quite a bit tomorrow whenever Brendan Kelly, the Illinois State Police Director, is in there. But people say that, including the federal firearms licensees of Illinois, said that they should not, law-abiding gun owners should not be held accountable for the actions of a psychopath. And what we had in that Highland Park instance and also in the Aurora shooting was Illinois State Police not acting on either a FOID card that wasn't valid anymore. They didn't go after the Aurora shooter and grab his guns and confiscate those. And they also didn't take into account the clear and present danger report from Highland Park Police. So to that point of criticism, why should there be these large sweeping efforts to ban access to certain types of firearms when in these high-profile cases you've got law enforcement not necessarily following through to the fullest extent?
Well, this is another example of law enforcement having too much of a responsibility when we can simply make the law clear and do everything that we can to ban the sale of assault weapons, with large capacity magazines. I mean, we're asking the police to do so much. We're putting so much burden on them. And so now they fall in the position of being at fault for something that the law could have changed. And that's what we want to do. We want to change the law so that law enforcement doesn't have to be in the middle of something like this.
And Representative Ford with us, a Chicago Democrat, and he's been at the hearings that we've had so far for House Bill 5855 from State Representative Bob Morgan. I saw this headline just during the break that a Rhode Island ban on high-capacity firearm magazines is constitutional. A federal judge in Rhode Island Wednesday upheld the newly enacted state law banning the possession of large-capacity magazines that carry more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Of course, this is just one layer of a federal court, but the people impacted by this say that they expect it to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. That seems to be just about the magazines with 10 or more, but that kind of gives an indication as well as to how this is something that the courts are really going to be wrangling with. Do you anticipate that gumming things up in your efforts to try to combat violence, not just in the streets of Chicago, but any possible mass shootings that take place?
I think it sends a strong message that this is something that states have a right to do to protect its people. And we shall see how and if this goes to the Supreme Court. But once again, I mean, what are we supposed to do when families, mothers and fathers are crying to the legislature across the country, nationally, federal legislators, state legislators, and city government? They're begging for gun policies to try to make things better. And so as a legislator, I know that this is not going to cure the gun violence in Chicago, but we know that if we can take large capacity magazines out of the hands of criminals, that will help. Not to mention, Bishop, it's clear to me, and everyone knows that the study shows that it's not just people buying guns illegally off the street that's committing these crimes. There are people that are legally buying guns, committing murders, committing assault weapon murders throughout the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. So we always want to focus on the criminals, but we know that we need to tighten up our laws because people are legally buying guns and having mass murders in Illinois. And we should do something about that.
So you had mentioned that you're there to listen, you're there to take both sides into account, and even those who said that they don't want penalty enhancements. What you've heard so far, including the concern that minority black and brown communities could be targeted for having a handgun that has a 14-round magazine. That's standard across the industry. Are we going to do a grandfathering thing, and then it's prohibiting things moving forward? And if you've had it in your possession, how do you handle that? If you go about banning these certain types of things at a date certain, do you fear that is going to lead to more people being charged with felonies?
No, I think that what we have to do is make sure that we do a grandfather in. We ban the sale of these, sell no more, and people must register their guns that they have already. Once you run out of the ammunition from the magazine, you cannot buy any more for that style, but you still have your gun. I think that we have to recognize that we should put people over guns, and that having a bill like 5855 passed, if we need to make tweaks, it will not hurt anyone's ability to own guns, but it will help us in society prevent some unnecessary deaths in Illinois.
State Representative LaShawn Ford, greatly appreciate you always taking the time to come on with us. We'll be watching the debates, and again, another hearing set for tomorrow. And I know the sponsor says he wants to try to get this across the finish line before January 10th, so we'll watch that closely as well. Greatly appreciate it. Be safe up there, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Bishop, and your listeners. Bye-bye.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we'll wrap things up next now. It's 8:53 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Holiday mega passes and jumbo passes from the Illinois State Fair are on sale now. through December 31st. Get the best prices of the year. Mega passes are good for unlimited carnival rides all 11 days of the fair in Carnival Midway and Adventure Village. Only $60 right now. For only $10 more, get the Jumbo Pass that also includes unlimited use of the giant slide during the fair. Easy to order, available 24/7 at www.illinoisstatefair.info or call 217-782-0775 during regular business hours to order. Orders can also be placed by mail or fax. Your 2023 Illinois State Fair Holiday Mega and Jumbo Passes. Now only $60 and $70. Get yours before December 31st.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
92.7 WMAY is stuffing your stockings this holiday season with family 4-packs into the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. Discover more about Springfield's favorite president. Experience the sights and sounds of history. Be a tourist in your own backyard. Register to win a family 4-pack of tickets into the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum right now at WMAY.com. Happy holidays from the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum and 92.7 WMAY.
Hi, it's Shane Luttrell from Luttrell Jewelers. The 16th annual Big Holiday Sale is happening right now until Christmas. Holiday shopping with up to 30% off and no interest financing. Luttrell Jewelers, open 6 days a week until Christmas.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Some people would call him a loser. He ran for state office. He was beaten. He started a business. He failed. He ran for Congress. He lost. He was nominated for vice president. He lost again. But he knew only those who never tried are the real losers. And Abraham Lincoln was no loser. Persistence. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to